this, do that, do this, do that. There we go. John from North Carolina. Good evening. Brett Smith is in the house. Gail, good evening, Gail. Good evening, Pressure. How are you today? Good evening. Top Dat, baby. What's going on? Well, look at this. We got a lot more cameras going tonight. Fun, fun, fun. What do we have going on here? Okay, do that right there. Restream. How are we looking on Restream? Nick, how you doing? Ishmi Amor, how you doing? Zatran, good evening. Top Dat baby, go on, go on. Larry Brown, what's new? Christopher, what's going on? Uh-oh, uh-oh. Offline, offline, this is not good. All right, let's see what we're doing. Settings, stream, restream. Uh-oh, we're gonna have to get Jacob on the phone. Uh-oh, shit, I don't know where the hell Jacob is. Wow, we got a lot going on tonight. Cool, cool, cool. James, you, the silver guy, way over here this time. Okay, Jatinder, what's going on? Bill, James, good afternoon. All right, can we look at JetBlue? All right, Tay Sanders, JetBlue. Yeah, give me the ticker symbol, and it's probably going to be a no because it hasn't been around long enough. World of Lewis. Let's take a look at John Werner. Good evening. Let's take a quick look at that one. What are we doing? What are we doing right here? Okay, and this one right here. Let's move things around a little bit. Get that down out of here. Get this one. Continue. Over there and move it over to here. And there we go. All righty. All right, so let's get out of here. Let's go to trade. Let's go to this account. I'm almost ready. Nice. All right, Ford. We want to look at Ford first thing this evening. And there we have it, Ford. All right. Now, I always do things methodically. You like that one? Methodically. All righty. Do you have a twin brother? No, I do not have a twin. Actually, I do have a twin brother that I have never met. It's a funny story. My mother told me one day she was out someplace and she ran into me and she said, James, 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 James. And I was ignoring her. I said, no, Ma, that wasn't me. Apparently, my dad was a singer, lead singer in a band. So yes, my dad was not monogamous to my mother. And so there is a twin that looks just like me somewhere. Never met him, but my mother said she met him. And she was a little peeved that I wasn't paying attention to her. Weird, I know. Anyway, so let's go. What are we looking at? We're looking at Ford. Okay, so I always do things A, B, C, D, one thing at a time. Before we even get started, first, let me apologize for not introducing myself. Hold on. First and foremost, my name is James. This is Dividend Stock Talk, where I invest in dividend stocks for weekly cash flow. What I'm looking for is a simple, safe, predictable, consistent, no way to lose strategy, looking for 1% per week. That's my goal. My goal is 1% per week. Safely, simply, predictably, consistently. No way for me to lose. I say that loosely because there's a lot of other extenuating circumstances go along with it. I will explain it as the day goes by. So, first and foremost, this trading strategy was created for my 9-year-old daughter. So before we go on a little further, let's introduce you to the little princess. Well, I say little princess, but she's 20. Shit, she's going to be 26 this year. Holy cow. Right there. That's 2025. We don't want that. We want this right over here, weeks 2024. That brings me to my YouTube channel. All right, so we're gonna go to the YouTube channel. We're gonna meet little JC and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So you guys might get a better idea. Holy shit, look at that. 999 videos. So that means the very next video I do will bring me up to over 1,000 videos. Holy cow, I've been doing this for quite a while. So that being said, let's look at videos, the oldest video, and here is the little princess.
Hi, I'm JC, and as you being part of my internet website club thingy, which my dad doesn't let me call it that, but I do. Being part of that, you're going to be getting weekly lists of stocks and all your trading, and every month you'll be getting lists of stocks that you can choose from that'll help you get the best return on your money.
All right. So that was like 15 years ago. Hold on.
List number 1 is
20 days in the month of January.
20 days in the month of January.
It's 21 days in the month. What does that mean? That means every single day you and I do.
All right, so that's me and my daughter about 15 years ago. When I said at 9 years old, she jumped on my lap and said, "Daddy, what are you doing? Can you teach me?" So needless to say, I'm trying to figure out a trading strategy for a 9-year-old. Well, most adults don't even understand it, so how am I going to get a 9-year-old to invest without losing? Because we all know if a little girl starts losing her money, she's going to get unhappy, she's going to cry, daddy is going to feel like crap, mama's going to get involved, and daddy's going to be sleeping on the couch, which really ain't that bad. I had a nice, comfortable couch at the time. I did. It was comfy. I didn't mind sleeping on the couch. But you know what I mean. Unhappy wife, unhappy life. So I had to make it simple for her. It had to be simple. She was only 9 years old. It had to be safe so she didn't lose anything. Had to be predictable so she knew what she was getting before she even did it. And it had to be repeatable or consistent. All right, repeatable. Okay, and no way for her to lose. So with those 5 criteria in mind, I came up with 5 rules. Okay, so I'm going to pause all the questions. Okay, so I'm going to pause the questions for a little bit so that I can get through the introductions and whatnot. Let me finish up with the 5 rules. Are you ready? The 5 rules are pretty simple. Adults have a tendency to make this more complicated than it needs to be. So for my 9-year-old daughter, here's the rules. Rule number 1. If it is not on your list, don't even bother looking at it. I'm going to explain that in a little bit, but needless to say, for you people out here and for myself, if the stock doesn't make sense, if you don't understand it, if you don't want to buy it, own it, hold it for the rest of your life, don't buy it. That's rule number 1. Never buy something you don't understand. Rule number 2, never sell at a loss. It defeats the purpose of the game. And yes, this is a game. Okay, it's an adult game, and yeah, you can lose money because sometimes the stakes can be high. But if you play it right, you can have consistent income, consistent cash flow. Okay, so rule number 3. This is the one that boggles my mind consistently. And I'm going to show you as the day progresses how it can be confusing or why it boggles my mind. Because when I say rule number 3, consistency of profitability. Okay, so why would anybody, any of you guys out here, why would anybody invest into a company that is not consistently profitable? That absolutely boggles my mind. We're going to be looking at some stocks that you in the audience are going to request. I'll put them up and I'll go through what I do to take a look at what I'm going to invest for. Because I have a proven strategy. And I'm going to share it with you. I'm not going to sell anything. I'm going to promise you that at the end of the night, I'm not going to give you a pitch. I'm not going to ask you to buy anything. Okay, so that's out of the question. So let's move on. Consistency of profitability. I will point out when something is off the hook, or so to speak. Rule number 4, weekly options only. Now, when I say I want a simple, safe, predictable, consistent 1% per week, the only way I'm going to get that is through a covered call using a call option stock strategy. It's simple, it's safe, it's predictable, and it's consistent. If it doesn't have a weekly option, it's automatically going to be a no. Now, we looked last night. There was 10,000, I think it was 10,000 different companies to invest in. Now, out of all those 10,000 companies, half of them pay dividends, the other half don't. So I don't even bother looking at those that do not pay a dividend, because a dividend is a portion of the company's profits. They share it with the investors. Now, I'm 61 years old. I'm retired. The money I've earned since I started working back in 1973, some of you weren't even born then. 1973, I had my first job at Old Man Simmons Farm. Yep, I was doing farm stuff in elementary school. That was my first job. Okay, I'm a Generation X. The stories you've heard about us is true. My very first job, I was in fourth grade. Fourth grade, and I was working Old Man Simmons Farm, which was on the other side of town. He would come pick up me and my buddy Bruce, and we'd go to the farm and we'd do do firewood. Okay, we chop down trees and we'd load up firewood, and then we'd do tomatoes, we do squash, we do green beans, we do all that kind of weird stuff. We tend to the cows and the chickens. Yeah, we did all that stuff in fourth grade. That was a long time ago. Anyway, besides the point. Oh, rule number 5. Make sure the numbers work. Now, we're actually going to go through a couple of sample trades to show you exactly how simple and easy it is. Now, if it doesn't make sense to you, if you have any questions, please ask. But remember, in the back of your head, always keep this in your mind. This strategy was created for a 9-year-old when she was up. You saw the video of her. The video of her. Okay. Here, she's 11. So we'd already been trading for 2 years from this video. Because when she first started trading, they didn't have YouTube to upload videos. Okay? Our very first video that me and her uploaded together was in, I think, 2012, 2013, somewhere 2011. I don't know, somewhere around there. Okay? But simple, safe, predictable, consistent, no way to lose. That's the 5 criteria. 1% per week, that's what I'm looking for. Now, let's progress with the rest of the hi, hellos, all the niceties in life. Botox Doc, you're over here. Cool beans. Ashley, Jonathan, Joanne, cool. Alrighty. Eric, Papa, cool beans. Louie, alrighty. Chuck, oh, here we go. John Werner, good evening. Leon, hey, how you doing? I'm doing great. Hey, what's up? Legendary, I gotta repeat that one. Leon, I feel like you make a lot of money. I make good money at cleaning toilets and sinks. I was a business room salesman. Okay, Leon, cool. Let's keep on going. Tom, good evening. Zyro, good evening. Now let's go over here to TikTok and see who do we have here. Larry Brown, Ishmia Moore, cool. Nyan, cool. Brett Smith, John from North Carolina. Mike, Zatran, Gina Fee, good evening. Top Dad Baby, cool beans. Larry Brown, when sounds busy sounds like a full house. Yep. Afternoon, Mr. Bill, New Jersey, what's happening? World of Lewis, Ford, you want to take a look at Ford? We'll take a look at that one. Bill, what the heck is SFTBY? Bill, sometimes you amaze me, okay? I'm in Ford, average at 17. Holy shnikey, you're in at 17 on Ford? All right, let's get out of here. I've introduced you to JC. She's my daughter, okay? Now, we did that video about 15 years ago. That's a long time ago. Now, you might be asking yourself, how often do I trade and how long have I been doing this? Let's go for just a tiny bit more. Weekly trades, 2024. Yep, let's go all the way down to the bottom. Come on, a little faster. These are all the trades for 2024. Okay, so I first started posting my trade. Now, I've been trading since the 1990s, back when commissions were $250. $250 commissions just to buy. So you had to make sure that you were right, or only smaller amounts. Yep, we're going to get to that in a little bit. Ooh, user wants to take a look at Starbucky. Super Steve. Can I make a 1% on $1 million? Yeah, you can if you got $1 million. All right, so I first started sharing all my trades back in August 31st, 2011. Now, I've already been trading for about 10 years before I started sharing all my posts. Because you get to a certain point where people keep asking, what do you do? How do you get all that money? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You ask my kids, hey, what does your dad do? I don't know. My kids had no idea what I did. Up until sometime about a year or so ago, they had no clue. Okay, now I've been doing this for a very long time. Okay, so here's some of my trades. 2013, I started out in 2011, starting capital 82,000. I actually took a mortgage out on my house. That $82,000 from me refinancing my house. Yeah, that was crazy. Well, nowadays it is, but no, nowadays it's not, because I'd do the same thing now if I had opportunity. All right. Yeah, if you slide down just a little bit more. April 2012. That was another slow week, but still moving forward. Our profit for this year is still at 34.2. And this was in April. 34% in April. Running with 33-week total is 87%. And the weekly average dropped to 2.66. Oh, boo-hoo for me. I was only making 2.66 back in 2012. But anyway, if you dig deep enough, you can find them. They're all there somewhere. All right, let's get out of there. You don't want to see that anymore. Let's go back to, here we go. Now we're on Ford. Now I have a method. So I always do A, B, C, D. I'm always looking at the 1 year chart first. And it takes 3 to 4 seconds. Now, a lot of people find that hard to believe, but I'm looking for 5 things only. You ready? Number 1, the high. Number 2, the low. Number 3, where was it a year ago? Number 4, where is it now? And then number 5, down, up, sideways, down, up. 3 to 4 seconds. That's all it should take you. All right, it's not at the high. Great. It's not at the bottom. Great. It's somewhere in the middle. All right, fine. That allows me to move to step number 2. Step number 2 is make sure the numbers work. Great. What am I buying it for? $9.98. Okay, that's what I'm buying it for tomorrow morning. Because you get the bid, the ask, the high, the low. The holy shit, 87 million shares traded today on Ford. 87 million. That's a lot. Okay. What am I buying it for? $9.98. What is the closest strike price? Now, when you do a covered call, if you don't understand what a covered call is, there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of videos that will explain. Let me briefly give you a quick metaphor, right? Or analogy, or some kind of a sample that might make it easier for you. You ready? Now, I'm assuming we're all over the age of 18, which means we all know what a car is, or a truck. Well, if you have a car or a truck in your backyard, you take that thing, you push it out to the front lawn, and you slap a for sale sign on it. Okay, we all understand that, right? You take a car, put it in your front lawn, you put a for sale sign on it, and you say, I want $10,000 for this car. Great. Well, some guy named Tom from 3 streets over, the blue house with yellow shutters, you know, that guy, he stops by and said, hey, I like your car. Let me give you $100. Hold it for me until Friday. On Friday, I will come and I'll give you the rest of the money. If I don't show up on Friday, you keep that money and then you sell the car to someone else on the following Monday. Do the exact same thing. Okay, you own something. You take a deposit on it, a non-refundable deposit. That's called an option premium. That's what we're looking for, option premium. Okay? Now, if the price of the car or the price of the stock stays above the strike price, okay, that means if I want 10 grand and John thinks the car's worth 10 grand, he'll come back and give me the money for it. I will get all my money and I'll get my non-refundable deposit also. That's my profit. Now, if it is below the price in which we agreed upon, okay, the stock, on Friday, that option will expire. I will keep that money, and then the following Monday, I will sell it again. That's why I want weekly optionable stocks only, because every single stock I buy, it gives me a weekly cash flow. Every single one. I don't own a single stock that does not give me weekly cash flow. Now, to me, it doesn't make sense to buy a stock and hold on to it for decades. That doesn't make sense. I'm 61. Every penny I bring in needs to help pay my bills and allow me to grow my account a little bit as time progresses. So as I get older, and then I might need, hip replacements, what do you call that? That shoulder thingy that old people have problems with. I'm not there yet. This is the new 60 for me. Okay? 60 is kind of like 40. I've seen guys in their 40s that aren't in good shape like me. Okay? Because we're a strange group, us Gen Xers. We're a strange group. All right. So, a covered call. Basically, the right, not the obligation, the right to buy a stock at a certain price by a certain date. The price is what is called a strike price. See right here? Let's open it up a little bit more so you can see a little bit more of them. Okay? Strike price. 650, 7, 750, 8, 850, 9, 950, 10, so on and so forth. This is for the Ford stock that we're talking about. That's the strike price. That's the agreed upon price by a certain date. That is these right here. 25 April, that's tomorrow. We're not going to look at that one because it only has 1 day left. 2 May, that is 8 days. That's next week. 9 May, that's 2 weeks away. 16 May, 3 weeks away. 4 weeks away. 5 weeks away. 6 weeks away, so on and so forth. Every single week, I write a covered call on every single stock I own. My goal is 1% of my account. Now, if my account has $100,000 in it, I want $1,000 a week. If I have $150,000 in my account, I want $1,500 every single week. It's going to get to a point where you guys retire. Now, don't kid yourself that you're not going to get older and you're going to need to retire at some point. You are. The money you make, the money that you are relying on when you're retired has to come from somewhere. Okay, you can rely on Social Security if you want. I ain't doing that. I'm seeing what they're offering me when I turn 70. I'm 61. I'm not waiting 9 years for the government to give me money. I can earn it on my own. So I own my own manufacturing company, so I don't have a pension. So all the money I earned is in a little bit of account, and then I trade that every single week. Make 1% that pays for all my bills and all my expenses, and it allows me to do whatever I want. I like that. So my goal, 1% a week, that's over 50% per year. So if you have a $100,000 account, 50% is 50 grand. If you have 25,000, 50% is 12,500. Okay? Now, this is not guaranteed. You do have to do some work for it. You're not going to buy one thing and be set. No. You're adding a new routine to your morning. Okay? You brush your teeth, you shower, you shave, you make your breakfast, you get dressed, you go to work. Great. Well, now you're going to add 5-10 minutes to take a look at your personal funds. Because I have found over the years, by asking and interviewing a lot of people, most people spend more time planning a family barbecue than they do on their personal finances. Look at it this way. If my account, well, my account does have over 100,000 in it, but 5 or 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, because there's 5 trading days in a week, that's about an hour a week. An hour a week to make 1% of my account. That's $1,000 an hour. Well, okay, I'll do it. That's me. So I'm here just showing you what I do. Now, I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. Do I have stuff to sell? Yes, I do, but I promise I'm not going to sell anything. It's in the bio. You guys know how to do it. You're old enough to figure that out. Secondly, I'm not really doing this for you guys. Now, don't feel bad. Well, I kind of am because I want to share my knowledge. I do. I feel that when you get to a certain age, you have a calling to share what you've learned over your lifetime. That's what I'm doing. With the hopes that eventually my children and my grandchildren will say, well, how did Dad do it? How did Papa G do what he did? Well, hopefully, hi guys, hopefully they will watch and they will see how it is done. Because the stock market's been around for 400 years. It ain't going anywhere. When I'm long gone in 20, 30 years, Ford's still going to be making cars. Coca-Cola will still be making Coca-Cola. Johnson & Johnson will still be making Band-Aids. Okay? Clorox will still be making bleach. Okay? Bank of America will be still screwing people over the bank account fees. Okay? All these companies that are over 100 years old, they're still going to be around. Consolidated Edison, 200 years old. Well, they're still going to be producing electricity when I'm long gone. So hopefully my children and my grandchildren will pay attention to what Papa G did. All right, that being said, enough of all that BS. Let's get down and look at some stocks. But please, if you do, make sure the company has options, preferably weekly options, and it's at least profitable. Okay? Now, you're going to find out as we progress who's going to be the first one where I say, oh, hell no, what the hell were you thinking? There's going to be someone. Someone's going to ask me to take a look at something, and it's going to be so crazy. All right, you'll see. Okay? Let's keep on going. First thing I want to do, take a look at the chart. Boom, boom, boom. Looks good. High, low, all that kind of nice, neat stuff. $10. Well, the $10 strike price is going for 27 cents a share. Now, if you don't know math right off the top of your head, you should have been paying attention in algebra class. Because as an adult, you are going to use algebra. Okay? If that new car costs this much, well, I'm going to have to get a job to make this much, and then I'm going to have to do this, and I'm going to have to do that. That's algebra. Okay? Should have been paying attention. Now, 1% of a $10 stock, 10 cents. Take the decimal point, move it over 2 places. That's it. 10.02. $10.02. 1% of $10 is 10 cents. So if the premium is 27 cents, well, that's more than 2%. It's simple math. Okay? So let's take a deeper look. So the numbers look good. The chart, let's dive a little bit deeper to see what the chart is telling me. Is it a good deal to jump into it tomorrow or Monday? Well, let's take a look. A year ago, Ford was at $12.96. Let's call it 13. A couple of months later, in July, sorry, I'm not used to talking so much. The tea soothes the throat with the honey and stuff. Anyway, the high of the year, $14.90, was in mid-July. Okay, the low of the year, a couple of weeks ago on the 8th, $8.44. That's the bottom of the year for Ford. In high school, I had enough money to buy shares of Ford. It's at $10. Who doesn't have $10 to buy some Ford? The company's been around for over 100 years. Anyway, let's look at the last 90 days. Because I want to look at the 1 year, 90 days, 30 days, and then the seasonality chart. Those 4 charts give me a good idea of where the stock is going next. Okay, so the last 90 days, high, low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the momentum. Look at how the stock moves. Up, down, up, down, up. Okay, now I personally wouldn't jump into it now because from here, from the current bottom, which is right here, to the current top, which is right here, let's zoom in a little bit closer. Last 30 days, right there. Okay, here's the last 30 days. You can really see it. 30 days ago, here's the high, here's the bottom, now it shoots up. Let me give you a brief psychology class here. Brief, very brief. We all know what psychology is, what other people are thinking. Okay, as an investor, you guys are all investors. That's probably why you're here. You want to learn how to make money. Well, great. Well, how do you make money? You need to invest into something. Say, stock's up here at $10. People start saying, I'm going to take my profits, and all of a sudden the stock drops. Because people take their profits. And it gets to a certain point, $8.40. Well, people think, hold on, wait a second. Ford at $8.40? Hell, I'm going to buy some. So they do, and then the stock goes up. Now, here's where you need to do a little more algebra, a little bit more math. If the bottom is right here, $8.50, and then it jumps up to $10.06, well, that's $2.50. On an $8 stock, $22 is 25%. Okay, I'm looking to get 1% a week. This is 25% in 3 weeks. So if you bought a stock that jumps 25% in 3 weeks, aren't you going to take profits? Because it's not a profit until you take it. And I bet you didn't know this. Nobody ever went broke taking profits. Nobody. Nobody went broke taking profits. So if the stock jumps up 25%, I'm taking my profit. What happens? The stock's going to drop. Well, when the stock drops, gets down here again, that's when I want to jump in. I want to jump in down here, not here at the bottom, but as it turns and goes back up. So probably right here, take that little ride, get my profit, jump out. All right. Hi, Grandpa. All right, Alec. Thank you. Yeah, Jersey, we're going to take a look at that in a little bit. I'm going to go back to the beginning. All right, here we are. Where are we? Oh. All right. Tay Sanders, you got to give me the ticker symbol for JetBlue, but I can pretty much already tell you before we even look at it, it's going to be a no, because JetBlue is not 20 years old, and they don't have 20 years of profits. What is this on the screen? I have no idea. New Jersey, hello. All right, Lewis, we're looking at Ford. All right, so let's keep on looking at Ford. So I like Ford at 10. So let's do a covered call. Remember, I told you we're going to do a sample. So we're going to do a couple sample trades so you see how simple and easy it could be. And you also get to see what the rate of returns would be. Okay, now this is just a stock movement. This just tells us if it's a good time to do this trade or not. All right, so we like everything here. Let's see what a 10 looks like. Move that out of the way. First thing I want to do is I want to change this from single, which is just, one option. I want to do a strategy called covered stock, which is a covered call. Now, we don't want to do tomorrow, the 25th of April. We want to do to May, which is a week away, 1 week. Okay, now, the $10 right here. Let's take a look and see what the numbers are telling us. All right, now I like using this trading platform. Now, for those of you who did not know, the screen behind me is live on YouTube. So you can go to YouTube, my channel over there is The 10MinuteTrader, okay? You can find the link in the bio, one of these. This presets, okay? I just click the button and everything preloads for me. Now I just got to fill in the numbers, how many I want to do. So I'm going to do just one contract. See, I'm not going to do 10, 15, 20 contracts. People get a little intimidated by the numbers. They got to calculate in their heads. Just do one, okay? Okay, one contract of Ford. There we go. Now, first thing I want to do is I want to change it from a market order to a limit order. Now, here's the reason why. A market order, the market maker is required, okay, required by law. Yep, there is a law that he is required to fill it at the price he is posting. If he is posting the price at this, then he is required to fill it at the market order, okay? A limit order means you get to choose what price you want to pay or what price you want to sell it at. But a limit order, the market maker does not have to fill it. It can sit on his computer screen all day long and you get butkus. So anytime I'm entering into a trade, first buying a trade, I always do market order because the covered call, the stock and the option are tied together, which means I already know what my profit is going to be. Maximum profit, $22 per contract. So one contract, $22. 3 contracts, $66, so on and so forth. So you do what you think you can afford comfortably. All right? Now, let's keep on going. Here's the order right here. Buy one covered call of Ford 100. That is the weekly option. To May 25. That means this option, this order here, I buy the stock and then I sell the option. The option is going to expire on the 2nd of May. The $10 call option, that's the one that expires next Friday. against the Ford stock at the market to open to open. Now, the reason it says to open because you're opening two orders. One is a stock order, the other is the option order. Here's my profit, 22 bucks. What is it costing me? Cost of the trade, including commissions and fees, 978 bucks. Let's get the calculator out and find out exactly how much money that is. Okay, so let's find my calculator. Calculator, there we go. Bring my calculator over here. There it is. All right, maximum profit, $22. Now, this mathematical equation is not going to change either. To find out what your profit is, what percentage, your rate of return. Okay, we know what the profit is. The profit's 22 bucks. But what is the rate of return? Well, to do that, you take the profit, okay, max profit, 22 bucks, divide it by the investment. Well, the investment is 978. Okay, 22 divided by 978, and that gives a grand total of 2.2%. See, 2.2%. Now, if you don't know your math off the top of your head, 2.2% every single week is over 100% per year. Can you imagine doubling your money every single year, doing nothing but good quality companies? Pre-qualified. I call them pre-qualified dividend stocks. Okay, you got a pencil and paper? You ready? Here it comes. Here it comes. Dividend Kings. 50 years, 5 decades of increased profitability. Those are always a yes for me. Dividend Champions. 25 years of increased dividends. Again, always a yes for me. Dividend Aristocrats. 25 years. The difference between the champions and the aristocrats is the aristocrats have a little bit more rules to become an aristocrat, as opposed to the champion. Both of them with 25 years of increased profits. So either one of them is going to work. Okay, list number 4. Okay, dividend contenders. Okay, 10 to 24 years of increased profits. And then just for the fun of it, we're going to throw into Warren Buffett's list because it's Warren. If it's good enough for Warren, it's good enough for me. That's my philosophy. So those 5 lists right there will give you over 300 different companies to look at. Ford is one of them. General Motors is another. General Electric, Consolidated Edison, Caterpillar, Clorox, Colgate-Palmolive, Procter & Gamble, a whole bunch of them, about 300. There's about 10,000 companies altogether in the stock market. I'm only looking at 300. And I only look at them. Let's get out of here. Get out of there. Get out of there. And right there. I only look at the stocks in relationship to the calendar. And the reason being, stocks have a tendency to go up in value just before the dividend is paid out. This right here is called an EX dividend date calendar. EX calendar. Okay, it's free with Thinkorswim. Okay, now Thinkorswim is a trading platform with Charles Schwab. It's one of the big guys out there. Okay, now the green little dots represent the EX dividend date. Now, anytime you're dealing with a dividend stock, there's 4 dates to remember. Date number 1, the announcement date. Hey everybody, this is James from Dividend Stock Talk. We had a great year. We made this much money, and this is how we're going to give you your share. This is when we're going to pay it to you. This is how much it's going to be. That's the announcement date. Okay, this is what we made. This is what we're going to pay, blah, blah, blah. The announcement date, date number 1. Date number 2, the EX dividend date. That is the last day the stock trades before the dividend is paid out. So if you want to get the dividend for Procter & Gamble, you've got to buy the stock before the 21st. Okay? The 14th, the 15th, the 1st, the 17th, the 3rd, the 8th, the 9th, any day before that date. Okay? Date number 3, the date of record. Whoever owns the stock on the date of record is entitled to the dividend. So don't show up 2 or 3 days later and say, hey, where's my dividend? It doesn't work that way. You're going to buy the stock before the EX date, hold it past the date of record, then you're entitled to the dividend. Now, I'm not looking to get the dividend. I'm looking to get the premium, which is the insurance policy premium. Date number 4. The payment date. Simple. That's when you get your money. 4 dates. Announcement date, EX dividend date, date of record, payment date. Okay, so I take all the stocks that I like, 300 of them, and I put them in the calendar. And then the calendar separates them as to when they're paying their dividend. Well, that's when I want to buy the stock, before they pay their dividend, because the stocks go up in value just before the dividend date. So let's get back to where we were. And that's Ford. I like Ford, 2.2%, not bad at all. If you got 5 questions you got to answer. Question number 1, does it make sense? Question number 2, do I like Ford? Question number 3, do I like Ford at this current price? No. For me, no. Okay. High was here, 1040. She drops. She jumps back up, getting very close to the high. No, I don't like it at this price. Okay. Question number 3. Am I willing to buy this stock, hold it until the day I die, and sell covered calls every single week? And number 4, do I have the mental capability to make this commitment to myself and follow through? A lot of people want to make 50% on their money. But how many's actually going to say, hey, honey, I'm going to wake up 5 or 10 minutes earlier today so I can take a look at our personal finances to make sure we have a great retirement, or whatever it is you're saving the money up for? Because as being a human being, okay, a Homo sapien, we are the only species on this planet that's got to pay to live here. So when you retire, and someday you will, your money has to come from somewhere. I'm retired, so this is what I do now. Okay, and I get no problem sharing what I know with you guys. Okay, so World of Lewis, you're in Ford at 17. Okay, now if I was at Ford at 17, okay, I wouldn't be selling the 10s. I wouldn't be selling the 1050s. I'd be selling something more like, I don't know. Let's get out of here. What am I looking at? I covered this. I get out of that. I'd be looking more at the 11s or the 1150s. Whatever brings in money on a weekly basis. All right. That's Ford. That's the first one on the list. I'm actually going to turn the page, okay, because this is the last day of the week, for me anyway. So what do we have to look at? Bill wants to take a look at SFTBY. Bill, I don't know where you get some of these companies from. Okay, here we go. Could this be this is probably going to be the first one. SFTBY. SoftBank Group. No option. Oh, come on, Bill, you've been here long enough. Bill, you know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for companies that are continuously profitable, number 1. And they have to have weekly options. There's no options on this one. That's a no right off the bat. What the hell are you thinking? There you go, Bill. You got the first one. CVKD. That's going to be another no. CVKD. Another no, Bill. Acer. ACER. Bill, that's 3 in a row. Okay, 3 strikes, you're out, Bill. I'm not going to answer any more questions from you tonight, because you've been here before. We've done this many times. Consistency of profitability, weekly options. You just named me 3 stocks that don't have options at all. What the hell are you thinking? Seriously. All right, let's keep on going. Tom says ding dong, ding dong, you too, Tom. All right, let's go back here and do that. There we go. Dom G, what's happening up? Scott Hackler. If a stock you bought is up $2.50 higher than your strike price and you're only getting $30, would you roll it? Okay, Scott, it would really depend on, am I rolling it and am I getting an additional 1% or more for the next week? Okay, if the stock goes up, I already made my profit. If I roll it out even further, am I still getting a nice return? Now, I can't tell you what to do, but it's always going to come to the numbers. What did I buy it for? What strike price did I sell? What kind of profit did I make? Great. On Friday, before the option expires, what do all the numbers look like? What are the choices I have to either roll it forward into next week, let it get called away, buy it back. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered on a Friday afternoon. Lewis, you're into Ford at 17. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Please only ask a question once. I will answer each and every individual question before the night is over. Okay, so please ask a question once. Lewis just asked the question 3 times. It ain't going to get you any different of an answer. Bill, week 17 of the year, 4th week, quarter 2. All right, week 17. This is week 17 that we're in right now. No. No. Week 17. All righty. That's this week, Bill. Okay. Account 1, account 2, account 3. Now, I have 7 accounts. I share 3 of them publicly. So if you want to see what I'm doing, they're right there on my website. Each and every individual trade that I did. Okay, this is account number 1. These are all the stocks I bought this week. These are the options I sold. I bought 1 stock, Riot, and these are all the options I sold against the stocks that I already owned. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what you're asking, Bill. Week 17 of the year. Is that right? Absolutely. I'm in Ford 17. Got that. Okay, Lewis, that's 5 times you asked me the same question. Joe wants to take a look at advanced auto parts. Now, I do have some advanced auto parts. Here we are. First thing. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Sideways, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, that's pretty easy to see. Okay, what do the numbers look like? Well, currently it's at 32.94. Now, come on. We're old enough to know that 32.94, the closest strike price is going to be 33, right? 32.94. Closest strike price, 33. It's going for 91 cents. Now, 91 cents on a $33 stock is just a smidge below 3%, which means that's over 2. If I do 2% every week, that's over 100% for the year. That makes sense. Okay, so let's take a look at the chart. What is it telling me? Well, it's telling me that the high of the year, look at this, is it like a triple high right there? 1, 2, 3 times it hit that. 77.72, that's the high. Okay, the bottom's right here, 28.53. That was a couple of weeks ago. All right, look at the last 90 days. Now, the reason why I'm looking at the last 90 days is I'm looking for a pattern. Well, up, down, up, down, up. There's the pattern. It's simple. Okay, when you're high, people take profits, the stock drops. Once it drops to a certain point, people say, wait a second, I want to buy some of that. Then it goes back up again. And then people say, all right, wait a second, I'm going to sell, take my profits, and then it drops again. Well, here we are now. Here's the bottom here. Now she's going back up. That's clearly in an uptrend. You're going to make most of your money buying low and selling high. Let's keep on going. I'm not used to talking so much. Last 30 days. Here we go. High, low is, look at the motion. Up, down, up. Cool. Bottom's right here, 29. Now we're at 32. That's only a $3 move, not a big deal. 33 is going for almost $3. Great, it looks good. Look at the motion right there. What does Advanced Auto Parts usually do this time of year? Let me introduce you to, for those who've been here before, you know what's coming up, the seasonality chart. Now, if you don't know what a seasonality chart, it's basically winter, spring, summer, fall. All the way to the left, January 1st, all the way to the right, December 31st. That's the whole year. The blue down here represents this year's movement. Okay? The red line, that's 10 years worth of data. Now, you can set your seasonality chart whatever you want. Okay, I think 3 to 5 years is not enough time, and I think 20 years is too much time. So I have mine set somewhere in the middle, right at 10 years. I think 10 years is a good amount of time in order to figure out the average movement. Well, this is the average movement over the last 10 years. Okay, so let's zoom in to this area here. This blue dot here represents today. That's today right there. So I want to take a look at this. What does Advanced Auto Parts normally do? Now, when I say normally, it's business as usual. We're definitely not in a business as usual type economic atmosphere. So this may not be the greatest indicator there is. But if you look at it, basically goes sideways. No big up moves, no big down moves, nothing to write home about. Let's move on. So Advanced Auto Parts, I like it. Like I said, I do own some. I think I own it at 39. Okay, I owned it at 39. That's when I bought it, 39. Now it's at 33. I'm not panicking because at the 33, I'm selling the 34 calls. And the 34 call option is paying me 58 cents a share. Okay, that's more than 1%. Remember, I'm in it at 39. I'm selling somebody the rights to buy it from me at 34 because this is where the action's at. This is where I want the money. Okay, so I could go with the 34.50s or the 35s, but I keep an eye on it twice a day. I look at it in the morning. Now, I do have a paid service morning trading group where, serious traders come in and we trade in the morning, okay, just before the market opens so we can see what's going on every single day. Now, it only takes 15 to 20 minutes. And if you don't have 15 to 20 minutes to take care of your personal finances, I can't help you out. Okay, we're talking a 50% return per year possible if you just take the time out of your busy day. I know there's 24 hours in the day. If you don't have 10 or 15 minutes, well, stop planning those family barbecues and concentrate on your personal finances. Because eventually you are going to retire and you are going to need to know where the money comes from. And then you got two choices. Only two. Do not kid yourself thinking, well, I might have more than two choices. No, you don't. You ready? One, you take care of your money and you invest your money yourself, take responsibility. That's one. Number two, give it to someone else, let them do it for you. That's it. You're going to do it yourself or you're going to give it to someone else and do it. There is no third choice. All right. Next. What are we looking at next? Super Steve wants to know if he can make 1% on $1 million. Oh, Super Steve, if you got $1 million, why the hell not? Okay, user 3457 wants to take a look at Starbucks. All right, S-Bucks. I like Starbucks. I do buy it often. First thing I always want to look at is the 1-year chart and those 5 little things. You take 3 to 4 seconds. High, low, was, is, and direction. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Simple enough. We're at 83.86. Closest strike price to 83.86 is going to be the 84. Well, the 84 is selling for $335. That's almost 4%. Almost 4% for 1 week. Well, it's slow, it's boring, it's monotonous, it's the same thing over and over and over again. And no, I don't look at those new shiny stocks that like shooting through those like a rocket. No, I don't look at those. If it doesn't have 2 decades of profitability, which means I don't look at new companies. I don't look at IPOs. I don't do crypto. I don't do Forex. I don't do smart contract. I don't do any of that stuff. Simple, safe, predictable, consistent 1%. That's what I'm looking for. Pre-qualified dividend stocks. And those are companies that are older than 20 years. Because you can't have 20 years, 2 decades of increased profitability if you're a 5-year-old company or a 10-year-old company. You can't have it. It's just the way it is. Okay? I don't make the rules. I just live by them. So I like this one. Let's take a look. Is it a good time to jump into Starbucks? A year ago, 88.41. The bottom of the year, 71.32. That was in the middle of July. The last 90 days, Right there. Okay. High, low, was, is. Look at this. Up, down, sideways, down, and then up again. That's the 90-day chart, the last 3 months. Okay. Now, the last 3 months gives me a good idea what you guys, okay, what other investors are looking at. What are they doing? Well, because it's setting me up for what's going to happen in the last 30 days or the next couple of days. Okay. Here's the last 30 days. Up, down, up, down, up. Okay. Now, it's a little foggy right here, so I don't think I'm going to be that much interested in it because she pulled back today a little bit. You know, up, down, up, down. No flashing neon light here saying, hey, this is the way we're going. Sometimes we get it, sometimes we don't. All right, what do we have over here? Uh-oh. All right, what do we have over here? Okay, Starbucks, we did that one. Or only smaller amount. Yeah, Super Steve, we can do that also. That silver guy had so many calls, forgot I didn't use my Macy's this week. Hey, that happens once in a while. User 34, being a trader, would you ever buy the premium after you close the call in the money? Okay, user 3457. Okay, always, I like saying it 3 times. Always going to be about the numbers. Because numbers don't lie. 1 + 1 is going to equal 2 no matter where you come from. So, what did I buy it at? What option did I sell? Where is it at now? What does that mean? Do I let it go? Do I buy it back? Do I roll it into next week? What do I do? We can't. I'm going to give you a quote by John F. Kennedy. We cannot answer the questions of tomorrow with the knowledge we possess today. Basically, that means I can't tell you what I'm going to do on Friday with the information I have now. Okay? So when the market opens tomorrow's Friday. Now, in my morning trading group, we jump in on a Friday at 2:30. Now, it used to be 3 to give us an hour to play with, but now we have enough people that we want to get in at 2:30 to make sure everybody makes money this week. If you're in my trading group, my number 1 priority is to make sure you don't lose. Now, I can't help it if you hit the wrong